Good morning, everyone, and welcome to United Way for Southeastern Michigan's December Community Roundtable. I'm your host, Dee Dee Rogers, and I am grateful you're spending part of your morning with us. Now, before we begin, a quick accessibility reminder. So, for closed captioning on Zoom, click the CC/show captions button in your meeting toolbar. And for Facebook Live, click the CC icon or open the video settings to turn on the captions. All right, we want to ensure that everyone is able to follow along comfortably. Now, as families prepare for the holiday season and schools transition into winter break, we know many households are navigating joy, stress, shifting routines, financial pressures, childcare needs, and the desire to keep children engaged and learning at home. All right, today's conversation is designed to equip you with practical tools, restorative strategies, and uplifting encouragement so that you and your children can feel grounded, connected, and supported in this season. This session is streaming live on Zoom and Facebook, and a recording will be available afterward for anyone who wishes to revisit or share it. Okay, I'm excited. I am deeply honored to welcome today's guest, someone who has walked alongside United Way and our communities in meaningful, transformative ways. Dr. Keisha Allen is a leader whose voice and expertise have shaped how families, schools, and communities understanding healing, discipline, and connection. We have partnered with Dr. Allen many times, many times before, including during the height of COVID, where she served as a restorative practice trainer, speaker, and facilitator for our community of practice. Her wisdom remains a grounding force for parents, educators, and community members across the region. Dr. Allen also again partnered with us for restorative practices for our team, and it was a very powerful and impactful expertise. So we are so super excited, Dr. Allen, and thank you for coming back and joining us once again. We are honored to learn from you today.
Thank you, Ms. Dee Dee. I certainly appreciate all of the wonderful introduction. And I thank you so much for that. So we're able to go ahead and get started.
Yes, go ahead.
I am going to share my screen. First of all, thank you all for joining. For those of you who are live on Facebook, so happy that you are with us today and that you are even taking out this time to be with us. For those of you who will subsequently see this video on one of the platforms such as YouTube, for whatever reason, you were designed to be here at the right place at the right time. And so what we get the opportunity to do is really speak about holiday well-being. And I also want to leave you with a learning toolkit that you can use over the winter break. Something simple, something very easy. And so I want you to know that because this conversation will not take long, take time to have a seat. Take in this conversation. It's only going to be about 15 minutes. We welcome any questions that you all may have. Make sure that if you have them, you put them in the chat. And then, of course, our wonderful moderator, DeAndrea, will make sure that they tend to that so that we can answer any questions that you might have. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to share my screen. So happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate during this holiday, we welcome you all. All right. Dee Dee, can you see that? I want to make sure.
Yes, I can.
All right. So again, this is Holiday Wellbeing and Winter Break Learning Toolkit. And the holidays can be very stressful. You can see I'm trying to stay out of the sun. I have a lot of windows in my office. But the holidays can be very stressful. And so what we want to do, and I'm really, really happy that United Way has even taken the time to be able to address something that should be or may be concerning to many of you. And that is, how do we navigate this space? Is there something else different that we can choose? So holiday well-being and winter break learning toolkit. So wellness is always, and I do mean always, the number one priority. I get the opportunity to travel a lot. And I have never, ever been on an airplane in which the flight attendant didn't say to us before we took off that in the event of an emergency, that the air mask will deploy and you must put the air mask or the mask on yourself first before you help someone else. Why are they saying that? Because they know that if you are not well, then neither are you in a position to help somebody else. And so during this holiday season, and not just this holiday season, but beyond, the number one priority is to always make sure that you are at the center of that wellness. So when we think about one of the number one things that overwhelm people, that interrupts wellness when it comes to the holiday season, research shows us that financial strain is the number one reason for the interruption of holiday wellness. Where does that financial strain come from? It comes from this expectation of having to deliver during this Christmas holiday, oftentimes not remembering what is the reason behind this season. And so we put ourselves at disadvantages, unfair advantages that really, really cause a strain. Now, let me tell you all something about financial strain. It will produce a stress on you that can literally result in physical illness if you are not careful. And so, what sense does it make to celebrate the holiday and you're sick at the same time? We want to make sure that you are 100% well. And so we're going to talk about what can you do to address financial strain, but there are other challenges. Financial strain may not be your issue. It could be simply a lack of time. It could be pressure and expectations that are put on you, or it could be family dynamics. Oh my goodness. We know how family can interrupt somebody's interest and joy. And then finally, grief and, of course, loneliness. Oftentimes during the holiday, Dee Dee, this is the time where people are reflecting on loved ones that they have lost that are no longer here, or either the loved one might be here, but there's just a lack of connection. These things are critical and important for us to understand where we are in our space and being able to address and maintain our wellness. So, what can we do
Dr.
to
Allen,
address? Yes,
let me ask you really quickly because this slide is amazing and it has a lot of amazing information on here.
yes.
But there is, you can see us on the screen, and I don't want to take away from your slide deck. I'm not sure if there's a way you can minimize the showing us on the screen or if that's me doing that. Let me see really quickly. Oh, there you go. There you go.
How about that?
Perfect.
You
Thank you.
like that?
Yeah, I want to, look, I'm taking notes over here, so I need to be able to get everything that you're saying.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. All right. So, again, there is a way to be able to address all of these things: financial strain, lack of time, pressure and expectations, family dynamics, grief, and loneliness. And so, I want you all, Dee Dee already said that she was taking notes, but I also want you to take notes too. And let me tell you why. Taking notes is very important because it creates a new paradigm shifting in the brain. It creates neural pathways or new neural pathways in your brain so that you're not just taking it in through your ears, you're not just seeing it on the screen, but you are also writing it down. And so that helps you to retain and to remember this conversation so that long after this Zoom is over, it'll still leave an imprint on you in terms of what needs to happen. So let's go into addressing these things in order to produce wellness. Number one, and I'm only going to give you two things because I don't want to overwhelm you, but two things that you can do to address maintaining your wellness and addressing those issues of loneliness or financial strain. Number one is reimagine your holiday priorities. I was going to have you all type in the chat, but I found out that we did not have breakouts or that I was not going to see you. The top two things you value the most about the holidays. And so, without being able to type in the chat, I want you to write those two things down right now. What are the top two things that you value most about the holidays? For me, The top two things that I value most about the holidays is one, my relationship with God, and number two, my relationship with my family. Those are the two most important things for me when it comes to this holiday. Yours might be something different. When I think about what are the love languages, some of you are acts of kindness, some of you are words of affirmation, some of you are the giving of gifts, some of you are physical touch or quality time. I don't know what yours might be, but whatever they are, write those two things down. What are the top two things that you value most about the holidays? What I can tell you is that these two things that you value most about the holidays are key to maintaining your wellness. And when you're able to write down those top two things that you value most about the holidays, I want you now to begin to reimagine how can you bring your values in alignment with how you celebrate the holidays. And I tell you this, oftentimes when people are celebrating the holidays, they do things that are not in alignment with what they value. They do things instead that come from outside pressures or expectations. Who said that you had to buy someone the most expensive gift? Who said that you had to do gifts for everyone? If family is something you value, maybe a way to reimagine the holidays is to have a photographer over for the holidays. And you all take a family picture on the holidays. And maybe what you could do is go to the dollar store and buy a frame for every one of the family members who are there so that when the picture is printed, now there's something that they can walk away with that can last them for the rest of their life. How can you reimagine the holidays to fall in line with what you value? That's just one example, one simple example of what you can do. Like me, if you are a person who believes in God, how do you incorporate God into your holiday? Do we take time in the morning to reflect on the reason behind this season? If you are a celebration of Kwanzaa, do you take time to make sure that you're meeting those nights before we enter into the new year with the Nguzu Saba, Ujima, and Ujema, and all of those things that fall under the Kwanzaa priorities? What do you value? And then reimagine it. Here's the second thing: use your values to creatively guide your holiday plans. We talked about reimagining. Reimagining is one thing, implementation must be the second thing. So now, how do you use what you value to creatively guide your holiday plans? I know you probably thought she's going to give us something deep, but I can promise you some of the simplest things are the deepest things that you can do. One, be reminded of who you are and why you are and what you value. And number two, do something about it. So, number two is now use your values to creatively guide your holiday plans. I dare at least two or three of you to email Dee Dee or type in the chat how you plan to implement that or how you plan to do that. One of the things that my family and I have done is uh, as opposed to holiday gifts, we give these cups uh, with nice little sayings on them that they can remember. Nothing fancy, just something encouraging and inspirational for them to be able to take away with them, right? I refuse to leave this holiday season and be more stressed than I was than when I came in. Wellness must be your number one priority, and it must be at the center of who you are and what you do. That being said, not only you being well is important, but also your family and your children. So, what are some things that you can do over this winter break that can make sure that learning still occurs, but in a way that's not stressful, in a way that's not overwhelming for either you or your kids? I will say this: whenever there is downtime from school, usually that marks a significant learning loss for children. And oftentimes, the first week back, you have teachers or educators who are trying to re-educate them on what they lost over the break. One of the ways that we can help our educators and we can make their jobs less stressful is to make sure that learning is still occurring, that those brains and those neural pathways are still connecting. And here are some ways that we can do that. So, winter break learning toolkit. Number one, the daily rhythm and feelings toolkit. What is the purpose? To support emotional regulation, predictability, and connection. I don't know if you know this or not, but research talks about the importance of predictability when it comes to children. It really does help them with emotional regulation and connection. Children feel most unstable in environments that they are not sure what's coming next. So predictability is very important. So the daily rhythm and feelings toolkit. What can parents include? A simple daily rhythm chart: wake, eat, move, create, rest, right? Uh, Teaching them the importance of consistency and predictability. What else can you do? A short list of daily check in questions, maybe 1 to 2 per day. A check in question may sound like, "Hello, my daughter's name is Kendall. What is one thing that you are expecting to accomplish today?" A checkout question before she goes to bed is, "Were you able to accomplish that one thing? And if so, what was that like for you? How did it feel to achieve that?" Number three, what about a calm down menu? Learning about deep breathing, drawing, music, quiet time. All of these things help with regulation and creating a daily rhythm. Why does it work? Children, as we know, feel safer when they know what to expect. Number two, emotional check ins reduce behavioral challenges. How about that? And number three, it promotes self-awareness and emotional vocabulary. Here is the pro tip: post the rhythm where children can see it and allow them to help choose the activities. You don't always have to be the one that's coming up with everything. Present the idea and allow your children to be a part of that process. Number two, the real life learning and curiosity toolkit. Here's the purpose: keep learning alive through everyday experiences. What can that include? Number one, a list of real life learning moments. For example, cooking. Cooking, my daughter loves to cook, but what does cooking involve? It involves measuring, it involves reading, it involves sequencing. And guess what? This is a learning activity that can be done without pressure. It is still something fun. It won't interrupt your wellness. As a matter of fact, it will add to it. Games. One of the best games that you could do is anything with cards, right? Playing cards, that is, right? Playing cards. There's so many. You can Google this. There are so many learning activities that will increase math proficiency when it comes to using card games. It creates strategy and patience, and even chess. Chess is something that my husband is very much teaching my daughter. The other one is like piano. Kendall plays the piano. But here's another beautiful one that I absolutely love, and that is story time. Whether or not it's audiobooks or family reading time, right? And make sure that they're not reading in a corner just by themselves, but reading aloud. This will increase their proficiency. You'll also be able to hear them, and it creates a nice time for family to bond. Here's another one: a curiosity journal for drawing or writing discoveries. They can do this around the holiday. What were you curious about? What did you discover? Going on walks outside. What did you? I know some of us, it's wintertime, we're like, it's too cold to walk outside. But even in the winter, there are things that can be learned. And a weekly family challenge: build, solve, explore, create. What is our challenge as a family this week? What are we going to do together? So, why does it work? It reduces pressure and resistance. It reinforces that learning happens everywhere. And number three, it builds confidence and curiosity. Here's a pro tip: limit learning activities to 10 to 20 minutes at a time. Your children are going to pick up, okay, if this is over 30 minutes, if this is over 40 minutes, if this is over an hour, guess what? There is no more wellness. It has interrupted our peace, and we don't want to be involved in it. But learning should remain fun. So make sure that you're not doing this all day long, but be mindful and intentional. about the time frames that you use and when you find best to do it. And here's my last one before I close out. The connection and family moments toolkit. What is the purpose? Strengthen relationships and reduce holiday stress. The number one thing is the importance of relationships, especially in this holiday season. So, what can parents do? Number one, a weekly family circle guide with 3 questions, asking what went well, what was hard, how can we support each other. This builds connection and relationship. And what you'll find is you'll learn something about your family members that maybe you didn't even know what was going on with them. But these are the types of questions that let you into their world and allow them a brave space to express maybe something that they would not have expressed had you not asked. Number two, a list of screen-free family activities. Can we please put down the iPads? Can we please turn off the television? And let's go back and remember what it meant to connect. Number three, repair statements for conflict. Words like, I'm sorry, I hear you, let's try again. We know that the holidays can be stressful. Max Lucado said, conflict is inevitable, but combat is optional. So, in those times when you are not feeling well, in those times when you are not 100%, where your children are not 100%, allow grace to emerge. And what grace sounds like in order to reclaim your wellness are saying things like, I'm sorry, I hear you, let's try again. It's one of the best lessons that we can teach our children in terms of taking accountability for their actions. Why does it work? It builds trust and communication. It teaches accountability and it helps children feel seen and heard. Here's the tip: keep family circles short, 10 minutes, and end always with appreciation. I just want to say thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time and I welcome any questions that either Dee Dee you might have or others might have.
Listen, that was absolutely amazing. And I am over here taking notes and I'm like, how do I have so many comments and questions for my own, but I'm gonna go to the list of some of the
Okay.
questions that we have first. But I love all of it. I would say my love language, not that you asked me my personal one, but I'm going to share it.
Okay.
Is the two that you listed, which was acts of service and words of affirmation. And those are things they change often, but I think it is so important for you to recognize that because I have to, and I bring all this up because I have to connect with my kids, and bringing that up helps me know how to engage them and communicate with them, which makes communication all around even that much better, especially around the holiday. So, but yeah, amazing, amazing tips. I love it. Thank you so much. So we're going to move on to some questions.
Okay.
The very first one I have is, what is one grounding practice parents can use when emotions spike at home during the holidays?
A grounding practice that parents can use when emotion spikes during the holidays is number one, step back.
Mm, that's good. Step back.
If you respond in the moment, fires will occur. Things will be said that cannot be taken back.
Mm,
And so to be able to recognize that this is a moment that is spiky for me. So to be able to step back before the response, consider the situation, take some deep breaths, be able to ask yourself questions. What is going on? What is happening? Because let me also tell you this. Normally, when spikes occur, we create movies in our head in terms of what we
no.
think is occurring.
Yes.
And it's not until we step back and we ask the appropriate questions that we find out that the movie that we made up in our head is not the reality that exists.
Wow.
So when you step back, it allows you the opportunity to respond effectively
Yeah.
and to respond in a way that keeps everyone well.
I love that. That is so good. That is so good. We actually do have a question in the chat. If you're
Okay.
feeling stuck in a rut, can you elaborate on some easy ways to try and get out of it? The holiday pressures just adds to it.
Yeah. Stuck in a rut is very ambiguous. So I'm just going to give a general answer as far as that is concerned. If a person feels like they are stuck in the rut, the first thing that they must do is go within.
Mm,
Khalil Gibran said, "Man is always searching to find life outside of himself, never realizing the life he is seeking is already within him." So,
mm,
if there is a rut that exists in your life, it exists within you first. And
wow.
so, to be able to be honest about what is this rut that I am experiencing, what am I dealing with? It requires honesty, it requires transparency, it requires awareness. But most importantly, it requires a willingness to come out of it. There is no one that can pull you out of a rut outside of you. You are the answer to your rut.
Wow.
You are the gift to your rut. And the way that that happens is to make a decision inwardly that I refuse to stay here. Life is too short, right?
Love it.
So that's my response to that.
And here's the last question. What message would you offer caregivers entering winter break feeling stretched thin or exhausted? And I did have another question that I was going to sneak in here, so I'm going to kind of give you two questions. What are affordable ways families can keep children academically engaged during the spring break? So, kind of two things: academically engaged, and what
Stretch thin.
message would you give? Yep, thank you.
Uh, Again, the question of feeling stretched thin is a matter of going inward. Usually, when we are stretched thin, it is because we have put too much on ourselves that has allowed us to be stretched thin. And
Yeah,
so, if you are putting these unfair expectations on yourself, oftentimes it's not even people who have the expectation of you, right? It is the expectation that we put on ourselves. And so if you have children who are expecting a good gap of gifts from you, but you know that this is stretching you thin, you don't necessarily have to go to your children and say, "Hey, this is really stretching me thin." But what you can do is go to your children and say, "Hey, let's come up with some innovative and creative ways that we can celebrate this holiday,"
yeah,
right? Getting into pottery, getting into building things, getting into um, uh, drawing pictures that are gifts for other people. There are so many things that you can do.
yeah.
Um, that don't have to necessarily push you towards being stressed thin. If it is an issue of time, right? Our world is pushed on us helping other people make money. When you are working from 9 to 5, you are working on somebody else's dime and they are telling you what you can do with your time. And so the time that you do have that is yours, you need to reclaim it.
Yeah.
Reclaim your time and
Yeah.
you decide what you're going to do in those moments. And as far as some easy things that you could do that don't necessarily have to cost a lot of money, I mentioned some of that in a presentation. As far as learning is concerned, cooking is one of those ways that you can do that. It includes math, it includes reading, it includes measurements. Also, reading aloud is another one of those things that you can do. Grab a good holiday book, explore it. Who are the main characters? What did you get out of it? What were some lessons learned for you? Those are always learning opportunities. In addition, a small deck of cards can increase math proficiency, so on and so forth. So those are some simple, easy things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money that can
Thank you.
also increase learning.
Thank you so, so much for being here today.
Yes.
You all don't forget to check us out on Zoom. And also don't forget that you can go 211 if you have any resources that you need. Um, thank you. And I hope that you all have a great day. Thank you so much for coming on with us today, Dr. Allen. This was a rich conversation, and we'll talk to you
Thank you.
soon. All right.
Absolutely.
Bye.